is such a vibe. There's such an air of excitement about everything that's happening on that property development. And today we get to find out a little bit more about what the plan is, how the phases are going to work, and how things are going to be rolling out. And we can't do this by ourselves. I mean, we know the information. We have gone and done our homework. But nobody can tell you better than the people who are actually on the ground doing it and bringing all of this to life. So, namhlanje, we are joined by the Development Business Director, Mr. Tim Dlulane. Tembu, kunjani mfowethu?
Shuza manibulele Tuba Shapila.
Thank you
and
so
thank you
much
for having me this morning.
Yes.
And as you can see, I'm smiling. When you are smiling at Tuba, something you love just flows. I'm
exactly.
I'm looking forward to this insightful conversation we'll have.
I always say this when I have guests in studio. Yeah, but I'm a bit nervous, and I'm like, well, think about it this way: you are here for a reason, and you know best what it is that you do. Nobody can tell it better than you.
Exactly.
So don't take this as an interview. Take it as you telling somebody what you do.
Yeah, I think also it's just a matter of being aware.
Yes.
Of the moment.
Yes.
Because I think from where we're coming from, say, well, take the opportunity, take the moment. You don't know what fire can be ignited out of this conversation.
Absolutely.
So it's those drive that say, well, get out there, do your best, and then says it is, and then others will lash on, bring their light, and make the fire much bigger.
Absolutely. Yeah. Add wood, add blitz, add whatever it is that makes that fire blow up. Tim, before we get started, we got to pay some bills.
Yeah, sure.
We are terrestrial. We are KNR.
Where Kids Beach. Wow. Nanso ke Kids Beach yam. My healthy grass, my happy garden, my home ground. I smell your salty breeze as it blows and realize that I'm already home. Where warriors, kings and queens once roamed is now the place where I can rest my head at night peacefully and realize my own dreams coming to life for real. In your majestic journey of growth, you have spread your wings and become a royal dwelling for us all. My handheld glass, a toast to my humble growth. The possibilities are endless for my honorable generation. This is where my heart beats. This is Kids Beach, the place where I can reimagine my dreams. This is where I can breathe.
Turning your home-owning dreams into a reality has never been easier or closer than it is right now. Let us help you make your way home. Call MHG Property Development Specialist today and secure your own piece of Kids Beach that suits exactly what you're looking for on 043 726 0551 or visit www.kidsbeachgreenestate.co.za for more information.
MHG, my home gurus. Masizohlala khona mntase.
Joined in the studio, namhlanje, by Mr. Tim Dlulane. He is the Development Business Director of MHG, and somebody who's come to tell us, to link everything together. Last time we spoke with the visionary and the CEO, the founder, yes, Chart van der Veld, and it was an eye-opening conversation around how this entire development came around. But on the ground, you can't work by yourself. There are soldiers that you need to have with you, and so you are one of the generals that run this ship. And there's a story behind the story first, Tim. Before MHG, before the property investment, before everything that you're doing now, there's Tim. Tim. Who is Tim Dlulane?
I think through answering that, because before I answer that, first I have to go back to the founder of MHG, Chart van der Veld.
Yes.
Because it's a matter of the opportunity when we met, and then and sharing in her vision, and having a buy-in, and knowing that this is what I wanted to be, and saying that if I want to be, I have to do everything to ensure that the vision of Chart and the group and the other shareholders is achieved. So I think before I comment in terms and then saying, well, every day is opportunity, but I realized the opportunity that chat gave me, and saying, Tim, leave Joburg, come and join me, and let's make this bigger. You're from the Eastern Cape, come back home. So when you're coming back home, you feel that, now, yes, there's a duty you have to do. So now I'm home, and who's Tim? And I keep on asking myself, because when I ask myself that question, it motivates me.
Yeah.
Because when it motivates me, I say, well, I can be more. And when I can be more, and then because I'm in the Eastern Cape, I have to speak this in Xhosa, because I understand I'm in the Xhosa.
Yes.
Asazana, go through Shatodana.
Yes.
Okay, who's Tim? Utim, Tim, Ukudi, and Gunolali. I think that's the other part where the upbringing. When I'm saying in translation, I'm coming from the Abatimbu clan,
Yes.
which is Abatimbu house. And then on my part, that as Umtembu, what are the responsibilities that you can do within this opportunity of development, which you didn't know before? But a gentleman, Chad, as he said, he's from the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
And he said, no, we need people from the Eastern Cape to be part of this vision. So on my part was that, you know what, as Nolali, as I said, as a royal gentleman, like it or not, and I can say I'm a royal gentleman because I know at home they gave me values, and they said, well, you can change the environment that you are in by believing that it's possible.
Okay.
I think those are the part that now I lived that rural environment, which I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Because I learned the values of Ubuntu, and I learned the values of serving people, and then which I think my old man, and he never realized that, because he was running a general dealer. I think we were selling lots of things within the general, like let be the groceries.
So he knew everybody in the community.
Well, he knew everybody, but he was a army general at the time, but he was a kind of an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But at that time, I was 11, 12, but I used to go with him to the wholesale. Then now, with that, there is something I'm learning here, to serve. And as much as we are giving to the people, where I think my old man was able to say that he's able to bring the resources closer, because you pay pension.
Yes.
And then there were pensions. And well, you'd rather the old ladies take the checks and change them on their behalf than to bring the service closer to the people.
Yeah.
But that serving and knowing that there's legally going to be here, but you're making a difference in the community. And that's what we're doing at Kids Beach, and saying, who is Tim? Tim is in Kids Beach, want to serve the community of Kids Beach by creating opportunities.
I see.
Because in the opportunity that I'm given, I have to say that it's not about me alone. And I've left Abatembu and making sure that Tim First is sent by Abatembu to say, go and represent, come back and serve. I think that's where now it comes back to the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
And saying, what are we doing in Kids Beach? Yes, we're creating jobs in Kids Beach, and we're excited about it, because it's not about building houses. There are lots of communities that are benefiting from what I'm doing. Now it makes me to leave and saying, well, this is what I'm doing. It's not for me. It's for the greater good of the Eastern Cape.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So those are the part that saying, well, it cannot be me.
Yeah.
It cannot, because I was in sport. In sport, I was competitive. It was about myself. It's about my goal, about what I wanna reach.
Your milestones.
It was a matter of, I'm here actually through talking about it. I'm smiling about it now. When I was in sport, I said, well, coming from that entrepreneurial background, which is now the soldier told the recruit in terms of what do you do? I said, well, create sort of what I can put it, generate a startup capital.
Yeah.
Then I realized that how would I get my first million? And my first million was in sport. And I knew that the reason I was in sport, yes, I was going to play Springboks. I played it.
Yeah.
But I said, well, now I've reached the Springboks, then let me get out, because I've attained my goal. But then I've got, in terms of that startup capital. Because while I was in sport, actually starting property investment due to my father, where he's saying, well, you can't sit and stay at my house, where it was a harsh lesson I said, well, Tim, you're earning
it was
money.
one of those sit downs.
Yeah, no. Tim, you are earning money. If you're earning money, rent at my house, because now, well, we're in Pretoria that time as well, because I've got this entrepreneurial mindset as well. Well, instead of renting this property to you, sell it to me because I've got the money.
Yeah.
So I was 22 by then, and I said, well, now as a professional sport person, but then I knew exactly why was I getting in. Then let me create sort of a pension when I leave sport, because it's always short-lived. And then on my part, and say, well, how can I go back and fully understand the concept of greenfield development in terms of virgin land, and say, well, that land, you can make properties in it.
So what is your attraction to property, Tim? Because you touched on it a little bit of how you got into it. I mean, what's your attraction to it? You are passionate about it.
Yeah. Through. I think first you can see I'm smiling. I won't lie. I love money. If I say I love money, so if I love money, I have to find ways, models that you are able to preserve,
yes,
or compound what you love.
Yes.
So property, that was the attraction, and mostly, if I can say, I am into creating a legacy.
Yes.
And a legacy not for myself, a legacy for my family name. Because when I'm sitting here, when I'm talking, it's well, I represent Lulane. Tim is an individual, and where he brings in the brand, those where he knows what that is the responsibility, which I was given home, and say, well, Tim, go out there, make us proud, and represent us. And I'm being one of the representative of that Lulane brand, and saying, what do I bring to the brands that I work with?
Yeah.
Then on my part was that, yes, I mean, property is my passion, and they always say, do what you love, because you don't have to work
a day in your life.
So I think those are the part that drives me.
Yeah.
In terms of what I do, I know it's not for me alone, but then I'm enjoying it and I'm driven by it. I have to do everything possible to reach the goal of the team I'm working with, the direction of the group, and then making sure that those goals are attained. And on my part, that, well, I'm living purposefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you've accomplished a lot in your personal capacity, starting from, the on the field, and also to transitioning into property, into where you are now. You are a brand, working with a brand, and for a brand, if I can say that. Yeah. How do you liken these linkages to the things that happened in the field compared to what you are playing on a different field now, at Kids Beach,
So what you are saying through a brand and Masa, that you start from home.
Yeah.
And then when you start from home, you are told that, don't disappoint us.
And that's drilled. That's drilled in.
Now then that becomes a responsibility.
Yes.
And when you go to other brands and then you say, well, what value can I bring to this brand with what I'm having from home? Because any organization has got its values,
yes,
it's got its mission, it's got its vision, and then you now have to understand that, well, there's no lolly in me. What value do I add in this sought after company?
Yes.
And being who I am, and say, well, I have to make the ship go faster.
Yeah.
And if I don't make the ship go faster, then there's no use as me as an individual to serve in this company. And I say, well, how can I think outside the box to add value? And then that's my drive, and say, well, I left Ilali as a rural gentleman, call it, which I call myself, and as well, you can be more by adding value, by making another organization's light brighter. Then you know that now the others coming, they've got responsibility themselves to say what value are they able to bring. As I think, as much as the group CEO mentioned, I think, well, on our exco and the guys on site, they were selected specifically for certain roles, and they are fulfilling those roles outstandingly, and knowing that they'll stop at nothing and making sure that they provide the product, quality product to the clients. And then those are the part that now, if we share that vision, we have everybody buy in. Now the sport, and then you lightening the sport.
Yeah.
In sport, you want to be the best.
Yeah.
Now, in business, you want to be the best. So in business, you have to be innovative. And then in sport, you still have to train to be the best and win, I think, the cup, the championship.
Yes.
So on our part as well, yes, there are properties, but what is unique that will bring the people from the outside to say, we want to be part of this environment. We want to associate ourselves with this developer. And then now, the service that you provide must be key. That is it quality? Then that quality is bringing in the investors within to say, well, we want to be part of this vision.
Yes.
And because we see the bigger picture, we always say, I think our group, the founder, chart, say, well, you must always have end in mind in whatever you do. So now, if we have that buy-in and say, well, we can be here, but we're going there.
Yes.
So we're always 2 years ahead as a development and saying we're 2 years ahead, but he's already thinking 5 years ahead and saying, Tim, let's maneuver this part and let's speak the language of government to be in a position to say that what can we work together. Now we're working on the collaborative aspect and say, well, the public-private partnership.
Yes.
And saying, well, we're investors within the Eastern Cape. How can we work with the Eastern Cape government? How can we work with the Eastern Cape, well, with the municipality? So, and those are the part that we're already in and pursuing those opportunities. So, guys, let's merge because we're creating jobs.
Yes.
We are a municipality of our own, but it's private. But how can we merge and collaborate and understand the direction that we both have to go in and to stand? Because through talking about the collaboration and say, well, when I met you and at the Border Business Chamber,
yes.
I said, well, we had to do something.
Yes.
Because this economy being COVID and saying you can't stand alone, collaborate and then share in our vision. If you share in our vision, and then you also as a kid radio, and then on your part of that, nobody believed in digital radio at that time.
At the time, nobody
even
saw
so
it.
We have to be innovative and stick with the innovative people, and then say, well, get in it, and if keep on swimming, and then you get the current, and the current will take you in a good direction. So now, when I'm sitting here, I say, well, we're living that end in mind, and saying, well, we are here digitally, and we can hold conferences, but what do we do about it? We're going to sit back and say, well, we're going to create and build the 5,000 houses that we plan to build.
5,000.
We plan to build, but then say, well, how do we do that? We're going to do it with the businesses of the Eastern Cape, with the people of the Eastern Cape, and then having Margaret, the head of marketing, say, not Max, this is what you have to look at, because we have to be in Eastern Cape business orientated, not to leave and have a digital radio from Joburg, but leaving you in Eastern Cape.
Yes.
For me, won't speak the language. Well, you wanna sithethe through. See, I said, no, well, singenza kanjani, sibambisane to make sure now we are formana deny now nam they are formana. So there's the window which motivating me.
Yeah.
And I'm motivating the team, which is the EXCO, the employees within the MHE group, and then the CEO is like, well, everybody is sharing my vision, making sure that it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to zoom in to the green estate, what can you tell us about what's still yet to unfold at the green estate?
I think on our part is that there are key, I call it catalytic opportunities, infrastructure projects.
Yeah.
And then they're catalytic because they're unlocking the opportunities for greater. If I'm in the municipality zone, and when I can say for the greater Ward 31, 32, 33, and then say, well, and then Eastern Cape or the municipality, BCM themselves, are going to benefit to those opportunities that have been unlocked. So then where I know that we are hard at work with the team, with the engineers, with the group founder, chart, and working and making sure that the intersection, Kids Beach interchange, it's millions of rands, and I don't know the value. It's millions of rands, and Sunrise on board, Department of Transport is on board, and then that's where you will realize that now there's what we're talking about, which is now public-private partnership, which is at play, and the support from SANRAL, where that N2 R72 with joining the Kids Beach
Yes.
M501, going down Kids Beach, that extension. And what is exciting about it, we're building houses. All of a sudden, we're paying millions to build roads. Road, which we know the asset will belong to government.
Yes.
But then on our side, we have full understanding that this economy, people don't have jobs, and not having jobs, they'll get to be employed by SANRAL, by the contractors, which will be extending the road.
Yes.
And then I think those are the part that now you know exactly why you're in that meeting. I'm not here to represent myself alone. I'm not here. I'm representing an individual that is at home, who's unemployed, and say, well, he'll be a laborer. He'll find a way and say, guys, we have to ensure that these benefit the Eastern Cape as much as we're selling houses. So we change. So then the road is one of them. And then looking at the Kids Beach Hospital, and which I was fortunate, I think I'm more of the opportunity, and so I was fortunate and grateful for the group founder. He invited me, he said, Tim, come on board, be partner with me in this license. Let's have the license 100 bed, which I'm grateful about the opportunity. But then now the opportunity gives a drive, give everything as well. It won't be Tim Lulana, but they say, well, when it's no longer there, then there was the involvement of the hospital, which was part of built in Kids Beach. And then so those are the part that now it makes you to think ahead. Say, well, this is not for me alone. It's for the generation to come, for the investors that invest in Kids Beach. Then they know that now there's a hospital, 100 meters away, and now going to the hospital closest in Kids Beach is what 25 k's coming into East London. So those are what is happening. Then again, which I'm more excited about, which one of the reasons I have to relocate in terms of roll out, the high performance center is coming up, which we're gonna discuss on.
Yes.
And then the hotel, and then understanding with the economy, with this COVID, we can't explore the tourism side on the hotel, but it's on the cards, it's there. And then there's a tertiary institution, which is part of Kids Beach, which is zoned to take place, to be built. But then say, well, there's a lot to happen there. The amenities to come into Kids Beach. And then Kids Beach people, when I say the community, I think I like to look at the community, because you want to create where people don't need to leave Kids Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how are the phases going to be rolled out? Take us through the phases of the Green Estate and how the steps are going to go going forward.
I think on our plan, and we hold back certain phases and saying, well, we don't know with this wave through. We don't know when the COVID is gonna end.
And we really don't.
Now we are more on the residential, which now it became positive on the interest rate. The interest rate will allow that. So where the guys coming from the cities are preferring semi-grading to the coastal areas, and then understanding that they can work in the bigger homes, holiday homes, instead of staying being in Joburg, and understanding most of the people in the Eastern Cape are based in Joburg, Cape Town, and then they say, well, if then Kids Beach can offer something similar to Midstream, something similar to Denfen, something similar to Centurion Estate, why can't I be closer home ezilalini zam nikwazi ba dithenga indlu apha Kids Beach, but I can go home ezilalini and come back and be at my comfort. And so that is the plan behind the vision. Is how can we create a Kids Beach to be similar but different? I think similar, different to Midstream.
Yeah.
Because then now we want to roll out. We are more focusing on the residential.
Yes.
And then saying, well, the key part as a rollout for 2022, I said, well, it's the road, it's a hospital, which are close to saying that the operator to sign off, but then also saying, well, now the uptake of in terms of the interest rate are keeping the development going, because people are just semi-grading. and moving to the coast.
Yeah.
And instead of going to Durban, people coming back home, where Kids Beach become just one of those, they call it the Zoom town, where they know that if there is fiber, they can sit at the comfort of their home and communicate throughout South Africa and said, yeah.
Wow. You touched on it a little bit, but maybe you can unpack a bit about the High Performance Center.
Yeah, I think the High Performance Center, and I told you through when I said that want to be more.
Yeah.
And when you want to be more, you want to leave a legacy. And I think I was fortunate when I was fortunate myself, being a rural gentleman, as I put it, and where I was given bursaries of sport.
Yes.
Because I knew, like it or not, I have to believe I was good enough to be given the bursary and say, well, how can I take the High Performance Center in Pretoria, bring it to East London? Then I had to collaborate with the University of Pretoria, who gave me the bursary to be one of their athletes, and saying, well, Toby Sutcliffe, who was at the time the manager of the High Performance Center.
Yes.
When we were coming in into the University of Pretoria, and then the guy, well, I want to take this. It's like I'm joking. I want to take this to Eastern Cape, but I haven't met Chad by then.
Yeah.
And Toby, of course, Tim, how can I help? So now he's a head, a mentor on implementing the High Performance Center.
Yeah.
So, but the reason is that, yes, Eastern Cape got lots of talent, talented ladies, talented guys, and saying, well, instead of them going to the High Performance Center in Pretoria, going to High Performance Center in Stellenbosch, and then therefore then in Potch. So we want to be the fourth High Performance Center for the Eastern Cape, and I think we are having a positive, in understanding in terms of the government, the MEC herself, and say, Tim, how can we merge and work together?
Yes.
And understanding, we have to understand sport is impacted heavily by COVID in terms of the participation.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
I'm saying, you must keep the fire going and don't end within the country. And we are engaging with the American investors and understanding, my background being rugby, and saying, what can we do with the American interest? How can we work closely with the American interest for the black child in the
Yes.
Eastern Cape who is not known, and bringing the services closer to them, and not to change the environment, because I found it was system shocking for me. And say, I was in Pretoria and coming from Mthatha. I'm far from home, but I've got a duty. I want to be somewhere.
Yes.
So let me work. But then say,
Yes.
bring those services closer. And Chad himself having that buy-in, having that vision, so that it can work. So we are gaining momentum, and where I know that for 2022, that dream needs to materialize, and understanding the delays, and then saying, the sport hasn't been active for a while, but then it has to go. It has to, it has to be developed. It has to be, it has to materialize. So it's a matter of time, Andrew, where we know that we're doing it for the Eastern Cape.
So, you mentioned the High Performance Center, which is, I also believe, with all the talent we have here, the access to such a center coming from Eslalini or wherever, and not having to travel out of the province to do that. That's fantastic. You also mentioned about a medical health facility on the premises.
I think the medical health facility is where we were. I think it's a key catalytic development as well.
Yeah.
Because it got in two folds. Was an investor who buys a property within Kids Beach. It's either for rental. Then the moment there's a hospital, there'll be need for the nurses that are staying or that are working within the hospital. Then they'll need to have a place to rent or to own. And if they're not renting, they're buying it. But then now it's appreciation, and there will be value for the houses that are already there. So we are bringing an add-on on investment. And then on the hospital, we'll say, how can we be in a position through on the medical tourism concept, bring the world, bring a guest across the world,
Yeah.
because we've got specialists within the hospital. Now, those investors will come, those individuals who want to have that medical procedure. They know that the specialist is based in Kids Beach, and I have to be in Kids Beach, and where the proximity. I think they always say location is very important.
Location.
So it's one of the elements, one of the factors that now we have to maximize our location, and saying that medical tourism and those individuals who are coming into East London for that medical procedure, then they are able to spend money into the Eastern Cape to see the Wild Coast, to go and see with game reserve, but then at the same time that they are recuperating within the Kids Beach area. So that's what we're looking at and saying, well, what can we do for Eastern Cape, being in Kids Beach, but let's bring in business opportunities
Yes.
for the people of the Eastern Cape. Not only saying we want to develop hospital and live like that, and want to say, well, what are the travelers who are coming into the hospital? They're going to spend in the Eastern Cape. They're going to stay on the planned hotel facility that is across. So everything is just in a precinct. So those are the exciting part that it has to happen. It's happening in Cape Town. It's happening in Durban, because as well it's a location. And as well, South Africa is known to have specialist medical individuals.
Yes.
And how can we work and collaborate with those specialists to know that they are having consultation rooms at Kids Beach Hospital?
Wow.
So then those are the part that we are looking at, and then we know that it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time that will be achieved.
These are mammoth tasks that you've set out for as a team. How do you plan to achieve these successfully?
Well, as you put it, it's us thinking outside the box. I think every day, Charles and Tim, sometimes becomes heavy, but we know that we've got a goal, and we have to make it happen.
Yes.
And we believe in possibilities. So, and this economy, and say, well, what are the key drivers? And we're identifying the key drivers of unlocking. And then on our side, that residential is going, and we've got partners who are seeing, that Kids Beach is growing.
Yes.
And recently partnered with Vodacom fiber.
Yes.
And now the residents in Kids Beach, they got fiber. And Vodacom is having confidence. They say, well, this development, and year after year, we are just growing numbers by numbers. So I think those are positive, that we have to bite the elephant in small chunks.
Yes.
And in phases, and that's the plan, and we keep on believing that we're achievable. And sitting there, the plans, the meeting we had last week, and that we achieved to bring service closer to the people of Kids Beach by just bringing in that partnership, that collaboration. So which we're working on it, and it's a number of collaboration and research we're working on.
And what does the future look like in Kids Beach once all these expansions have happened, and you are that much closer to the end product? I don't think this will ever be ending, because it's always that's why it's called a development. But what does the future look like at Kids Beach once everything starts being implemented?
Well, it's exciting. First, we have to say, what do we bring for the investors in Kids Beach? I think safety, quality of life, and services. And if we know that, yes, we're innovative, and we are in researching now heavily on the smart city technology, and saying, how can the investor and the homeowner in Kids Beach have the opportunity to have that smart home? And then on our side, that everything is controlled digitally.
Yes.
When you drive into Kids Beach, and then you got the cloud, because everything just is going into the technology taking over. But as well, now how can as a group invest in research, and then saying, well, we want to create Kids Beach one of the first smart cities in East London, in Eastern Cape, and then how can we invest in making research heavily on the renewable energy? How can we take off the load from Eskom? And then where we're investing in in terms of research on solar powered homes.
Yes,
And so,
yes.
so those are innovative, and so that will benefit the investor that invests in Kids Beach, and knowing that he wants to be part of this Zoom city, where you know that he's able to communicate with the world sitting in the comfort of their home.
And doing what you do best.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah.
We've got some comments here. Uwanga Machele says, yes, Puti, Amandla, Kids Beach Estate, Amandla. Bulelani Mdlela naye is saying, big up, guys. Tandole Pizana saying, Team MHG. And Uyons Lavisa says, Kids Beach Green Estate is a place to be. A testament to what we are talking about. And people who know, they know, and this is why we have these information sessions. Tim, what would you like to share with us about this development that excites you, that we can look forward to?
I think the exciting part is that the innovative side of the CEO, and then we were chatting the other day. I said, well, we are creating cradle to the grave, where one did not leave Kids Beach, and where we know that the hospital is coming up, and then from the hospital you're going to the primary school, and your kid is going to the primary school. Now the opportunity, I think, when I'm going to the cradle to the grave concept, I want to identify opportunities with you for the people of Eastern Cape, for the people of South Africa, to know that there's still opportunities on this town. We call it now in our super suburb.
Yes.
Suburb was East London always remain town. So on our side, let's create a super suburb. So I was taken to the concept of the cradle to the grave.
Yes.
Now there is a hospital, there is a primary school, opportunities a preschool.
Yes.
There is a site for preschool. Then there need to be investors who want to say, well, I want to smile for the preschool opportunity.
Yes.
Then after the preschool, the high school, St. Christopher's, Old Mutual invested in Christopher's, and the high school is just opening in 2022. And then from the high school, then the East Institution, and then the site is there in Kids Beach, where EFT colleges.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they can say, well, we want to partner, and we're working with other institutions to say, what training facility, training college can we have within Kids Beach? And then after that, now there's something that I'm developing the concept, and then there's a church, there are two churches that those after the institution, they want to get married, they can be married in Kids Beach, and then now coming out and say, well, they can buy. And what is unique about the Kids Beach houses is on a slope. Kids Beach is on a slope.
Yes.
And then each individual that buys a house in Kids Beach is able to have a sea view. And then now we're going back to say location. And then say, well, when you are in after the college, you're buying your house, and then there are different estates within the Kids Beach estate, where there are different income groups. Then you're coming up the medium income, the high end, and the premium, which is the golden mile.
Yes.
And then say, well, from the golden mile, we're developing a symmetry.
Yes.
And then now the lady, quite interestingly, one of our AGMs,
yes,
and myself and Chart and Marguerite and Johan, and said, well, guys, why can't you create symmetry? I want to be buried in Kids Beach.
Yeah.
Said, well, geez, okay, we've got the land, and we're investigating that, and say, well, people don't want to leave Kids Beach. We want to create that environment that everything is within a Kids Beach, and then so those what we leave and saying, well, we need to achieve for the Eastern Cape, as much as we're creating job and saying, well, we're bringing quality housing to the people and to the people of Eastern Cape, and then, well, the affordability, and exploring another affordable and the flips model, and saying, how can we get in there those who are not able to afford a certain threshold, and these are the houses, and they're getting subsidized by government, subsidized by the banks. But our duty as a developer, we are saying, well, we want to be the leading property developer in the Eastern Cape. But with you, True, and with this partnership, with this conversation,
yes,
I believe we'll be the leading developer in the Eastern Cape, because start with collaboration, as I said.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Uno Lubiana says we are open this festive season for viewings. Izani nizobona Kids Beach Green Estate. And umlamuli Klita Utimake ndizokroba. Kawuya mlamuli, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Not at all. That concludes the time that we have for the day, Tim. Mr. Tim Dlulane, joining us from MHT, the Property Development Specialist. He is the Development Business Director and somebody who's just unpacked for us the practical. He did mention about an elephant. You have to bite this and bite that. You can't just put it on a plate and eat it all at the same time. So he was unpacking to us the little chunks as to how the development is going to grow. Thank you so much, Tim Dabulela Mthembu, and I hope and pray people who are listening to this are the wheels are jogging in their head now, thinking, actually.
Yeah, Shamiza mandibulele ngelithuba ukunika lona, and I always believe every day is an opportunity. It's up to us, and because each individual is the master of his soul,
Yes.
and then the captain of his soul.
Yes.
And then where we know that what we believe in will be achieved, and then where we know that those who want to invest in property, and where we know where they can be, and it's up to them, and saying, what can I take the opportunity? Because 2 years down the line, that price will be up by 300 up, and if you are able to save and rather get started, get to know the sites, get to know. So those are the part that if I know, I have to tell you.
Yes.
And then the rest of the Eastern Cape, the rest of South Africa will know what is happening in Kids Beach.
Thank you so much, Tim. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you for your time, man. Much appreciated.